Time Walk with Me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Time Walk with me. I am the Time Walker, and this is Jansen, Chaos Crafter. He is the 3/3 legendary gnome artificer with haste who costs a red, a white, and a black mana to cast. That's not a combination I've ever built with, so it was a fun challenge. I'm also using a different website to host my decks since Moxfield gives the option to download all the card images together rather than doing each one separately like I was doing before. Because of this, the cards in each category will be in alphabetical order because the file names start with the name of the card rather than the set. Hopefully you'll find that as satisfying as I do. Jan has haste, so he can do whatever he wants the turn he enters the battlefield. You can tap him to either sacrifice an artifact creature to create 2 treasure tokens, or sacrifice a non-creature artifact to create 2 colorless 1/1 construct artifact creature tokens. Or suppose you could attack with him. I didn't consult EDH rec when I built this deck, so if this is the typical way to build Jansen, I'm sorry to be so predictable. It just seemed like artifacts that want to be sacrificed are the best to put into a deck with a commander that sacrifices artifacts. Though I have many solemn simulacrums, I don't have any extra right now, so he's not in the deck even though he should be. And if you hear a dog barking, that is because I have a crazy dog who likes to bark. Arcbound Bruiser, Arcbound Fiend, Arcbound Hybrid, Arcbound Javelineer, Arcbound Mouser, Arcbound Overseer, Arcbound Prototype, Arcbound Shikari, Arcbound Slasher, Arcbound Slith, Arcbound Stinger, Arcbound Tracker, Arcbound Wanderer, Arcbound Whelp, and Arcbound Worker. As you can see, I put in as many creatures with modular as I could. These aren't even all of them. When they die, their +1/+1 counters go on another artifact creature. Eager Wellspring and Nimblewright Schematic. These 2 cards really want to be sacrificed since they only do things as ETB or death triggers. The Schematic is especially nice because it provides you with more stuff for Jan to sacrifice. To be able to use Jan more than once in a turn is huge, so I put in some cards that untap him. Acrobatic Leap. This could also turn Jan into a surprise blocker. Patriarch's Seal, Puppet Strings, Sting the Glinting Dagger, and 1000-Year Elixir. I put in a good mix of destruction types, especially land destruction since I have access to red with this deck. Craterize, Demolish, Melt Terrain, Meteor Golem, Order/Chaos, Orm's Thunder, Rip Apart, Ruinous Ultimatum, Tectonic Rift, and Universal Solvent. These cards either tap for mana or make spells cheaper. Commander Sphere, Decanter of Endless Water, Foundry Inspector, Honored Heirloom, Joyrous Familiar, Lantern of Revealing, Mana Geode, Mind Stone, Mox Diamond. Mine is a proxy. I highly recommend proxying cards like this. Don't spend $800, it's not worth it. Ornithopter of Paradise, Pitiless Plunderer, and Prismatic Lens. No Soul Ring. I am out of Soul Rings at the moment. Send me some more if you want to. Abiding Grace. This is a cool, repeatable way to get back small creatures that you've sacrificed so you can sacrifice them again. Academy Manufactor. This is a must-have in this deck. Whenever you sacrifice a creature to get 2 treasures, you also get 2 clues and 2 foods. Anointed Procession. This is another auto-include if you can get one. It doubles the number of tokens you create, but it doesn't double the number of permanents you have to sacrifice to get them. Cranial Ram. This is a nice payoff for all the artifact tokens you'll end up with. Dollhouse of Horrors. Get those creatures you sacrificed back and get them back stronger with this artifact. Hey, that rhymes. Ellen Harbury's Busybody. As long as you're creating a lot of tokens, this creature turns it into selection and draw. Idol of Oblivion. Also, as long as you're creating tokens, this artifact lets you draw, and later it can get you a 10/10 creature if you need one. Jury, Master of the Review. This guy sees your sacrifices and gets bigger. Then if he dies, he explodes in an opponent's face. I built a deck around this guy a while ago, but I think I've since taken it apart. Mimic Vat. Whenever a non-token creature that you want to use dies, whether it's one of yours or one of your opponents, this lets you exile it and create temporary copies of it. It's kinda like an artifact version of Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. Monoskelion. You can dump all your +1/+1 counters from modular creatures you sacrifice onto this guy and then blast stuff with it. Nettlecyst. This is another payoff for having a ton of artifacts out. It also benefits from your enchantments. Osgir the Reconstructor. Get back double the artifacts you sacrifice with this guy. He also makes a great commander of a similar kind of deck. Scrap Trawler. This can help bring stuff back from the graveyard so you can sacrifice it again. Scrapyard Recombiner. I don't know if I put a lot of constructs in this deck, but there are definitely a few, and this creature is a sacrifice outlet as well as a modular creature. Sculpting Steel. If one of something is good, two of it is twice as good. Steel Overseer. This guy helps your modular creatures distribute even more counters when you sacrifice them. Wake the Past. Once you have a full graveyard, this can bring it all back. Whisper Blood Liturgist. If Jan sacrifices a treasure token to create 2 1/1 tokens, you can use Whisper here to sacrifice them and get something cool back onto the battlefield from your graveyard. And Zabaz the Glimmerwasp. This little bug was the reason I decided to go with a lot of modular creatures in this deck. When one of them dies, this makes them give one more +1/+1 counter to whomever it bequeathed the rest of its counters. I made no considerations for budget with the land base, so you might see some pricey cards, but it won't be too bad because I was working with my personal collection. We got mountains, swamps, and plains, of course, Arid Mesa, Blackcleave Cliffs, Blightstep Pathway / Seerstep Pathway, Iganjo, Seat of the Empire, Monumental Henge, Savai Triome, Silent Clearing, and Sundown Pass. And that's it. That is my Jansen Chaos Crafter deck. It probably runs a little slower than it could, but I'm more into casual, slow-paced games. But hey, if you do have ideas on how to make it more competitive, put them down in the comments. See you next time.